We're going to stay here all night if we have to, so let's get started.
It's time, America, for the #1 conservative common sense podcast that's calling out all the social justice, political correctness crap and putting it on the run.
Do you think you can handle it?
So hop in and buckle up and get ready to ride with two straight-shooting, tell it like it is, ex-street cops.
And they know how to party with few inhibitions.
As they give the special interest and weak-kneed politicians a swift kick in the ass.
Wow, is that legal?
With some good old-fashioned common sense.
Bring it on, baby.
It's Cop Talk USA with your hosts, Murillo and French.
Well, it's time. All right, everybody. Welcome to Cop Talk. That whip was Dave getting whipped. Hey, Dave. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Every time I hear that,
Yeah, you
Dave,
always liked whips, right?
you have a safe code.
Yeah,
You have a
I heard
safe
that
word
about
you
you.
use.
No.
We're a little crazy today.
Yeah.
What'd you do this weekend? Fill me in.
Well, watched a little football, babysat my youngest granddaughter. That was an experience. She's 5 months old, and she's either in a good mood or a bad mood.
She runs the show, doesn't she?
Oh, and then I had to change a dirty diaper.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
You know how to do that?
it all comes back to you, but it still doesn't make
Did
it any
you
more
YouTube it
pleasant.
and kind of see
Yeah.
how to do it?
You know what? And I'm being serious for a minute. When my daughter was born, she's our first child.
Right.
When she would, load her diaper, I'd clean her up as best I could. Then I'd fill the sink full of warm, soapy water.
Right.
And I'd stick her ass in there and swish her around.
I'm surprised you didn't put her in the dishwasher. Just turn it on.
That's a great idea.
That's a great
Roger.
idea.
Yeah. Thank
We'll
goodness
see in 10 years. You'd be doing a little time.
Yeah.
Well, the weather was so great out all
Oh,
weekend.
my
Oh
gosh.
my God, football. Of course, I did the Iowa State game on Saturday night. And the
Cyclones rock.
Oh baby,
Yeah.
we had the Cyclone game on. We had we were at the Cyclone game. We had the Hawkeyes on, watching them at the same time, and the windows open, and the wear and the crowd. It was just
You know what I
probably
was
the best
thinking?
game of the year.
Oh, I agree. You know what I was thinking while I was watching the Longhorns play?
Yeah.
I couldn't help but think, why do they want to go to the SEC? I mean, do they like getting their fannies whipped?
Oh, them and I think Oklahoma's going to be the same. I mean,
Yeah.
those guys.
Yeah,
you're going to go there and you go for money, but the chances of you winning a conference championship are slim to none.
Yeah,
I think, with
mean,
those guys.
they might have an aberration year, maybe in 20, 30 years, but for the foreseeable future, that's owned by Alabama.
Well, absolutely. And the crowd was good. Texas was there. Of course, everybody's getting the horns down.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Yep.
getting on them and doing that. Well, I did that, and then had a pretty easy weekend. I had a granddaughter's birthday. I did
Yeah.
too. Had to go over there and take the gift, and I went to Target to buy a gift. I'm going to tell you, the shelves are getting kind of thin. And this is going to be a dicey Christmas for people buying gifts and stuff like that because, of course, our boy Biden,
Brandon, it's Brandon.
Brandon.
Roger. Brandon, yeah.
He's got things so
he-
screwed up. I don't know.
This boy's got more problems than a math book.
Oh,
He is, without a doubt, the worst quote-unquote president of my lifetime, bar none. He's even worse than Jimmy Carter.
Well, the people who like him, and I don't get it. I don't get it at all. You know me on Facebook. I get on there. I do my thing. Well, I had the misfortune, I guess it is, to interact with somebody in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy does a post. Well, let me back up. Here's how it started. We did the school board elections happened last week. And, of course, our candidates unfortunately didn't win.
They did well, though.
Yeah, they did. Well, there was one guy that posted some stuff. He was really being a dick
Mm-hmm.
and an ass hook, or whatever you want to call him. So we did a little research on him. And, of course, we pull up his Facebook. And I'm going to call him out by name. Scott Redding's his name. He lives over in here. And I can say that because I have a copy of what he posted with his name on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's F the police, and then it says 1988, 32 effing years this song came out, and wouldn't you know, there's no difference. If we defund the police, we need to at least disarm the police, BLM. This is his guy. So I contacted this brain surgeon,
Yeah.
and like anything, hey, buddy, I'm going to talk about you. Before I do, I'm going to invite you to come on and defend yourself.
Sure.
No, nothing. Zero. I'm sorry. He gave me every excuse in the world. This is a guy that lives out here with us, and I don't get it. White guilt. He's a dad. He's got kids. He's pushing this kind of narrative.
Well, you suffer from white guilt, don't you, Roger?
Oh, yeah, I got white guilt. I got your white guilt right here. So anyway, I did that. I got to tell you something that shocked me today. I heard. I told you this earlier. I'm going to tell the story again. Last week, there was a article in the paper about two individuals, a male and a female, 40 years old, 43, that were arrested by the Ankeny PD. Ankeny was tipped off to a child pornography thing going on. And they were charged with distribution. They were using kids, and I don't know the details of this, using a child, making a movie with them, and trying to distribute it online. And, of course, the National Institute caught wind of this, and they tipped off Ankeny, and they went and arrested these two people.
Thank goodness.
One of them, her name is Stout, and I said, boy, I know that name from someplace. I know that name. And I couldn't figure out where I knew it. Well, I was out today in my front yard, and my neighbor came across the street and says, you recognize that name? I go, no. He goes, that's who you bought your house from. I almost fell on the floor.
Yeah.
It was her and her husband. And I met this lady, and she's a church-going. She has 5 kids. She works at the school as a homeroom mother, the cookie sale, the whole 9 yards. Mm-hmm. And then she ended up hooking up with this optometrist up in Ankeny. Mm-hmm. And they do this twisted, goofy crap up their shit. And she's going to go away for 25 years. Talk about out of the blue. And I'd met her. I go, oh, my God. And good thing the husband's not involved. So I don't think the kids were. But this is, and I'm not speaking on a turn. This is all online. You guys can see it and read about it. They got him. And, her son was just over here for Halloween, came by. He's like 12, and and then 2 days later, his mom's gone. She's going to be gone for a long time.
If she's convicted, that's very, very serious.
Yeah, convicted is the key here.
Yeah, convicted. Yeah.
If they've got video of these people in this, it's just a sickening thing. But it just goes to show you don't know who the hell these people
You never
are.
know.
I talked to somebody, and they said sexual predators are very shrewd and smart. And another thing, this one person says maybe this guy was trying to get her so he could get to her children.
I've investigated folks like that, and you're right. A lot of times they're very discreet about what they're doing. However, they almost always get caught because in order to perpetuate this twisted logic, this mental illness, preying on children, you have to, at some point in time, peddle your wares, access this stuff, sell it, distribute it, produce it. And then somebody dimes you, and then when the feds come in, you're toast.
Well, they're trying to peddle this online.
Yeah.
How stupid can you be? Well, being involved in it's stupid. Yeah. Those people, I tell you what, they go to prison, especially that guy. He's going to find out how a bear shits in buckwheat, because they're gonna get him and get him good.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, a couple friends of mine, they own some convenience stores, and this is interesting. They own a couple convenience stores in Des Moines in the inner city area. Mm-hmm. He was telling me this food stamp program that the feds have. It's called it's the SNAP program.
SNAP
program. Mm-hmm. He said the thing that he's saying is that people used to come into those cards and they'd buy something and they'd have it show the balance. The balance is worth $300-400. Mm-hmm. Now they're coming in and the balances he's seeing on these cards are like $3,000.
Oh yeah,
they're way expensive. He says he's seeing more of them. So evidently they're getting federal money and they're getting big chunks of it.
Yeah,
same guys own some apartments, and they were talking to me about the apartment programs where the federal government's paying their deal, and it's just getting crazy.
I got a plan though, Roger. You and I are going to capitalize on this free federal money. You with me?
Well, okay. I
Okay.
hear you.
All right. Here's what we're going to do. I've got actual cousins that live in Mexico City. Okay. Mm-hmm. You and I are going to get married here. It's just going to be a platonic marriage. Trust me. And then we're going to fly to Mexico City.
Dave?
Okay. And then we're going to come to the border, and you're going to go across. Okay, and then we'll claim we've been separated, and we'll each get $450,000,
or get a couple kids, and we call them get $1 million.
Been traumatized, okay, and Sleepy Joe's going to crank out a big fat check for us. So that's my plan.
He just keeps giving it again. I mean,
it's not his money.
Oh,
why would he care? Why would any of those?
No, that deal just goes on. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. You saw the Minneapolis vote failed.
Yep. So that they can't.
That whole BLM defund the police movement generally appears to be failing across the country.
It's failing nationwide because even some of the most radical progressive nut jobs realize now, hey, if I don't have police here, nobody's safe. Well, and that came home. That finally hit home with some of these nut jobs. So that's even up in Minneapolis. You got 56% said no. Don't defund the police.
Well, it appears that the ones that when they have done it, crime shot up. And we've talked about this before. The guy up in Minneapolis who said we were for it, but we don't want to be the test case. And what they're seeing is all these deaths and murders and homicides going up. And now they're having to refund those things, refund the police. But, it's a little bit too late because you've lost officers, they've retired.
Yeah, and it's still not good. Here's an example of what I know to be a fact. Roger, you wore the uniform. I worked off duty at Mercy ER here in Des Moines in off-duty police capacity for 20 years. And I knew the criminal element here in town.
Yeah.
And whenever we would have a shooting or stabbing or something bad would happen, the minute the victim's brought in, the entire first, second, third, twice removed family, relatives all rolling.
Oh, yeah.
And they're animated and acting up. But the minute they see that uniform, they become quiet. And why? Because they don't want to go to jail. They respect, even though they won't admit it, that authority figure. And you have to have that in a society, or we're just going to have chaos.
Well, they were going to refund that department up there. They were going to have the Department of Safety and go into that. And that's kind of like in Des Moines. We had the election here in Des Moines. And of course, we had our candidate for the first ward. I'm going to say this, Andrea Shoemaker. I think I'm saying that right.
Yep.
She's the one. This is the brain surgeon. And I, by the way, reached out to her, and I sent her an invitation to come on because I told her, I said, we don't want to talk about somebody or without giving them an opportunity to be here. And I said, we'll be congenial and nice, but we'll hit you right square with the facts. And of course, I got no, thank you.
No,
and of course,
typical.
She's 27 years old. She got elected up there. She's a BLM member. She's an activist. That's her claim to fame. She's been arrested, and she wears her arrest record like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
One of them was a felony, and it got reduced down. And this is the genius that said, and I saw this on TV, her big thing is disarm the police, blah, blah. She wants traffic stops done by unarmed officers. She wants to take the guns from unarmed officers. That's how bright this dim bulb is.
Yeah, well, here let me clarify this for the record. The two most dangerous police calls for service, I'll say it again, the two most dangerous calls for police service to police officers is domestic altercations and traffic stops. That's where the majority of our police officers get injured or killed. And so you want to take the firearm away from police officers who are doing traffic stops?
Well, once again, you have a person who has zero experience. Her probably only interaction with police is from the backseat of a squad car or the paddy wagon. I promise you, she hasn't been in there. She doesn't know yet. She wants to say, and she goes to her constituents, and she's gone out there and promised them she's going to make all these changes. She has to understand there's other people in that council she's got to massage and get. Now, it's a little scary because Des Moines has some leaders on that board that are good, and then they've got some that are a little liberal. And I did a post. I said, Des Moines better wake up. You may end up like Minneapolis with a goofy board up there.
Well, once the police officers wake up and they become vocal, outspoken, politically active, the citizenry flocks to them, okay? I've seen that happen numerous times. So a word to the wise with respect to this young gal that won this council race. If you attack the Des Moines Police Department, you're going to lose. Okay. Yeah. It's just that simple.
Well, they've got some great council members on that council right now that will defend them. Yeah. They've got a couple of them that I think, these are ones we talked about last time that were running. I thought they were liberal until I saw the candidates that are running against them. I thought, oh my God. But, tell me if, let's just, for shits and giggles, pardon my language, that say that she was able to get something like this on the agenda. How fast would it take that union to come out and straighten them out, either sue the city or tell them they're creating a hostile work environment or something?
It'd probably come down to hostile work environment and a breach of their contract, that stipulates health, safety, and welfare. That's where the police union would probably go. I ran the police union for 6 years. I was also president of the Police Protective and Benevolent Association for 15.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you, even though I'm retired, she pulls that bullshit. Okay, she's going to hear from me because I still have a tremendous amount of influence on the Des Moines City Council, and I'm not boasting or bragging. I spent 30 years of my police career being politically active, right. And if you're on that city council and you want to stay on that city council, don't pull any of these punches.
I think this Miss Shoemaker, she's young. She's obviously she hadn't shown much common sense because she's wound up in jail, and her protesting, and that's her big claim to fame. We're going to find out, and she's going to find out first off, you got to work with other people. And all these promises, and we see this. If you look at a lot of these districts where these liberal people like this get elected, the AOCs and the people up in Minnesota, they come from districts that are low income, high crime, people that, maybe a little distraught, and they go in and they promise them. Now, I will say this. She got some white liberal vote that helped her, the white guilt vote, I call it.
She got the Drake University, Drake neighborhood
those people.
vote. That's what put her in office.
Yeah, that got her up there and got her involved, and they're just all excited they got her elected.
Oh, sure.
They're going to find out, because the guy they replaced, he did a lot for that district.
Yep.
I don't know if you've driven up,
I know him.
up 6th Avenue.
Yeah.
They have all that new work, those street projects and everything. That was all due to him.
That was all Dives. Remember when you and I were on patrol?
Yeah.
The Leaning Tower of Pizza.
Oh yeah, the clubs, the shooting. But they've cleaned that up and spent a lot of money. And that's because of him. I just
Remember
hate to see him
your
lose that.
favorite restaurant up there on 6th Avenue, Roger?
Oh, the Why Not
the
Grill.
Why Not Grill, yeah.
I think I did a week in the hospital because of some food. For the folks who don't know it, the Why Not Grill was a place there that all the cops used to go in and eat. The dispatchers were, and they had good food, a little greasy.
Yeah.
They had good food,
Yeah.
but it was right in the heart of the hood.
Yeah. Well,
And-
if you wanted an actual outstanding breakfast, then you just waited till early morning and migrated across from your old place of employment when you were a kid. So's your mother. And Boswell's.
Oh, absolutely. The Boswell Big Breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Get me, I speaking of breakfast, I ate today. I'm not change subject. I ate at Centro. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's downtown.
Yeah, they got great food.
Great food, and the price, it was the same price as going to the Waveland Cafe.
Yeah.
And it's great service. I don't have any reason. They're not paying us. They're not sponsors. I just tell you, I ate there, and I usually speak up at places I eat, just like I did about that grill out in Altoona. This is that's a great place. You got to try
Their
that.
pizza's outstanding. It's the whole menu is outstanding.
Oh, absolutely.
Try it.
Well, today, do you have anything? I didn't interrupt. You got anything else you want to go over, buddy?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right. I'm going
good
to talk
so far.
about today's schedule. We just finished that segment up, so if you folks are listening, we're going to go through our fallen officer segment here. We're going to give some shouts out. Way to contact us, as always. Ask Out of the Week. Dave's favorite segment is going to come on. We have our Spotlight on Excellence, which is this week the Minneapolis Police Department, because of the defunding big win up there. So we're going to talk about them. Then we've got a great patriot and a good friend of ours, Mike Cruzan, is on. Did I say that right, Mike? Yeah, I did. I got that right.
Good job.
So Mike's going to join us, and we're going to talk a little common sense politics and talk about some groups that he's involved with. And so it's going to be a fun show.
Yep.
So let's go today to our fallen officers, and I'll read through that because we always like to pay tribute to those folks. Today, we've got a number of guys, and this is kind of unusual. We're going to read off a little bit. Our first one is Sherman Bennies, and he's out of the Kingsville Police Department out of Texas. He was shot and died from some gunshot wounds while he was responding to a domestic dispute down there, and hate to lose him. The subject fled the scene and was taken into custody later on. He passed away November 1st. They did arrest the subject. So that was a gunshot wound. We've got a real, and we're doing this now, we're paying tribute to the folks that we lose to COVID. And I've got a weird thing here. I've got the Pennsylvania Police Department, Pennsylvania Trooper Martinez. We lost him October 21st. Lieutenant David Formenza, he's out of the Department of Amboy Police Department from New Jersey. We've got Sergeant Timothy Warner from the Pittsburgh Bureau of Police, Pennsylvania. I've got a Sergeant Richard Charles Howe from Pittsburgh Bureau of Police. October 21st, we lost Mr. Warner on the 2nd. And they also lost out of Pittsburgh police officer Brian Rowland on September 26th. So they lost 3 officers due to COVID within like a 2-week period.
It's the number one killer of police officers across the nation right now.
It's sad. I hate to hear that. Losing an officer in any ways, but when you start losing that, the department loses 3 guys. I can't envision that. So
I'm vaccinated, and hey, to each their own. It's your choice, but I'm telling you, anything that would give me an edge on this virus, I'm all about it. I'm going to get my booster shot too when it's available.
Well, it's like wearing a vest. I mean,
you
get the
don't have
virus.
to.
Get the guys. You don't have to. And again, it's your own choice. But my word, you got to look at the numbers and you got to say that. So anyway, that was those. I'm going to give some shout outs today too. And these are folks that I've never met, but they're people that have liked our Facebook and been on our Facebook page. Ray Payne, I think Ray's a former officer, isn't he?
Ray Payne?
Ray Payne?
No, Ray's a friend of mine, and he's a big listener to the show, and he lives out in Arizona.
Okay. Brian Little, Matt Groh, Krista Sly. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Vin Thacker. Vin was on our show.
Hey, Roger, speaking of him, his daughter and my granddaughter did extremely well down in a big soccer tournament in Kansas City.
You and Vin's our just.
He was there. He was there, and his daughter was there. And my granddaughter, Delana, her nickname's Dee Dee, her team won the championship in her division.
Well, congratulations to both of them.
Yes.
I got to tell you something. I'm going to interrupt our shout-outs here a little bit. Vin ran for office, and he lost. About 2 days later, I guess he had called the police and make a police report that he was getting death threats. And people these liberals were coming after him, threatening him and his family. He called me, and I said, make the police report. I said, most of these people are cowards behind.
Just remember, the definition of liberal is tolerance and open ideas, and that's not the way our liberals today are. The radicals,
they're cowards.
If you don't abide by their narrative, they'll attack you. That's how liberal they are.
They're just cowards. Yeah. So Stephen Becker, Cliff McFarland, Madeline Phelps, Justin Courtney, and Joan Workman. Where do I know Joan Workman from? I know that name from someplace. I can't figure it out.
Joan Workman, she's married to retired state trooper Mike Workman.
Oh, is that right? Well, she's on a program.
They live. Yep,
we'll give them both.
Oh, yeah.
Love that.
I got Mike Workman's a great guy, and we used to have a lot of fun when
we got to get him on the program one day.
Yeah, well, he's in town. He'll come on. He's a good man.
We got to get the.
And Madeline Phelps, that's my brother Pat's daughter. So
we got some Murillo relationship going there. Well, there you go, folks. Obviously, I'm going to go through this again. How you can contact us? Go to the website. Listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Apple, or Intune, or like I said, just go to the website and click on that. And you can select the program because these are all pre-recorded and we put them up, and you can listen to it at any time. You can call us at 1-800-431-7074. You can email us at coptalkusa.com. Facebook, we're at Cop Talk USA, Facebook. You can mail us 6750 Westtown Parkway, Suite 200, Box 106, West Des Moines. And the show's up every Wednesday, usually by Thursday night, because Bob does a great job. We're doing our deal.
Bob's doing good work.
I don't think we talk enough about Bob.
Bob's a good man.
Bob's my hero. If you guys ever need sound work, because Bob works for us on Coming Part-Time, contact us. We'll put you in contact with Bob, and he can do you a hell of a job. Podcast, no matter what it is.
Let's don't forget to give a shout out to our guy Tom Turner. Also, Roger, he is recovering from knee replacement surgery. He's one of the guys that helped get this project going, and he'll be on the show with us here soon. But
he's
doing well.
Bad knee, was it?
Had a knee replacement.
Bad knee.
So he's doing well. He's doing well.
He didn't fall off the bar stool and twist or anything. You know. Well, I love him.
He's a former HR director for the city of Des Moines, so he is a plethora of experience in government.
You know what I want to hear? I want him to come on and tell us the funniest excuse he's ever had from somebody. Somebody's,
he can do it.
You know, I bet he's got a ton of them. So anyway, it's time, Bob. It's time.
And now it's time for
Ass Hats of the Week.
It's time.
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
He's a real asshole. Yeah, he is. Go get him, Dave. You go first. Batter up.
Here's my first one, okay? My ass hat of the week, and you probably don't recognize her by this name. Corinne Jean Pierre, I think is how you pronounce it. She's the deputy PIO for Brandon. You know who Brandon is, right, Roger?
Oh, yeah.
She's the sidekick to a backup for Peppermint Patty, a.k.a. Jen Psaki. She was on the tube here the last couple of days, especially today, trying to defend the Brandon administration's attempt to shut down another petroleum gas pipeline.
Oh, I saw that.
What in the hell is wrong with her and this Brandon administration? Have you seen the fuel prices, Brandon? Courtesy of your administration. I mean, gasoline's almost double. They're predicting huge cost increases for natural gas and propane, and you're shutting off another pipeline? Well, out of their minds.
That dovetails exactly what I'm doing. Because my ass can't is that Jennifer Granholm, the energy secretary. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Where she was on the air the other day laughing. Somebody asked her, "What's your plan to bring down oil? What's Biden?" And she laughed and she says, "I don't have a magic wand. It's the cartels, the oil cartels." And she's blaming everybody else, and not one word about how to get fuel in the U.S., what to do anything. There was nothing there. And then she started saying, well, you just better get ready because, prices are going to go up, gifts are going to go up. There's going to be just everything negative. I'm thinking if you'd hire this person and she told you that, you'd boot her out the door so fast it'd make your head spin.
Yeah. Well, and here's a blow to their green energy initiative. If you live here in the state of Iowa, a major producer of wind turbines in Newton, Iowa, is shutting down.
800 people out of jobs.
800 people out of work. No response from the Brandon administration. But I'll bet you he went and found himself a ice cream shop, Roger, and had himself a cone just so he could try and
I'm just telling
get
you
over it.
This thing, from what he's done, is he's attacked and declared war on the oil industry in this country. And I don't know, is Russia feeding him some more money? Is he trying to, is he on the take?
I can't figure it out anymore. And I sincerely ask, because I know there's a lot of people that follow me on Facebook.
Right.
I ask them to come on and tell me just one good thing that this joker has done for the country. And they're conspicuous by their absence. There's not one of them that will belly up to the bar and tell me what this guy has done to the good of the United States of America. Not one.
Well, Granholm has assured everybody the Biden administration is very concerned about the oil price at the pump, as well as this winter with natural gas and propane.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait. This party's going to get going this winter, and by spring next year, these people will be so sick and fed up of these people.
Well, they're predicting landslide victories for the Republicans in the midterms coming up here a year from today, and then they'll lose the White House in 24 because they don't have any legitimate candidates that are going to be actually able to seriously run for president. The one thing about the Brandon administration,
right? It's
the gift that keeps on giving for blue dog Dems and Republicans across this country.
Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about this. I think the only chance Brandon has, Joe Biden, the dipshit, is that if Trump runs, of course, they're running against Trump right now, and he's not even running yet. He hasn't declared. That's their whole deal. You take the Trump thing out, they don't have anything they can stand on and say, we've done this and this.
Donald Trump lives in the heads, free of charge, of all these radical leftists. They're still attacking him, and he ain't president anymore. Sleepy Joe's president.
Well, that's what they do now. They've got a couple plans. It looks like they're going to get through, and they may not. I haven't delved into them. I understand that Manchin's still looking at them, holding some things up, and they should.
That was a catastrophe for the Dems. They were expecting this to be, shot through with no problems, and they were going to get all these votes. Well, they didn't get what they wanted, and so there's another blow to Sleepy Joe.
Well,
that rhymes, doesn't it, Roger?
That's right. Yeah, I could think. I'm not going to go there. Okay. Blow to Sleepy.
Now, conversely, Roger, we have the ass hat of the week, but this week I have my man of the week, and he's a Dem strategist. This is a guy that has a pretty good track record of helping steer Democrats across the country. James Carville. You know who he is?
I know exactly.
Bald-headed, skinny dude.
He was Clinton's guy.
He's on yes, exactly. He's on record this week stating that stupid wokeness is turning away votes for the Democratic Party.
I think,
and he's right, 100%.
You're seeing more and more of these guys, these middle of the road Democrats, condemning some of this. They see what's going on.
They have buyer's remorse. Now, Dems are a Loctite group of individuals in that they will rarely break ranks and publicly criticize their own. But when folks like James Carville do it, it's a wake-up call.
Well, and one of the things, so I know we talk about this. I know this is cop talk, so it's about cop logic and things that affect policing that. But let me tell you something. Politics affects policing more than anything. If we don't stay on top of this, you get these people like Indira here who wants to take the guns away from police. We have to talk about this. And it starts at the top with Biden, and it starts with his administration. And every week people say, well, why are you making an asshat out of the government? Because they are. You just go every week.
The bottom line is take politics out. Take Republican politics out of this. Right. Democratic, independent. It doesn't take a brain surgeon, rocket scientist to look at people like the Squad and tell that they're a bunch of assholes.
Right.
They don't like America. That's as plain as the day is long.
Well, they don't like cops. We know that.
They don't like the United States of America. So why on earth would you vote people like that into office and then allow them to stay in office?
And speaking of that, that's a good lead-in to our next segment, which is Spotlight on Excellence. And the Spotlight on Excellence this week is on the Minneapolis Police Department. Fine group of people up there. No matter what the media says, no matter what some of those ass clown council people say, that's a good department. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. They police 58.4 square miles of real estate up there, so it's a big area. 429,000 people up there. It's governed by the mayor's office. That force was formed in 1867. They're the second oldest department in Minneapolis. It has 5 precincts. Of course, one of them they burned up there. 800 sworn officers, 300 civilian officers. They answer about 60,000 calls a year up there. They've lost since their inception. 52 officers have been killed up there in different things. They've lost 3 dogs. So that's all pretty much. They're divided into 3 categories: patrol, investigations, and professional standards, which I kind of thought was kind of interesting. They've got 100 lieutenants, 200 sergeants, and 500 police officers, and they're short, and they're losing them, and they need them. Morale up there's in the shitter, which obviously you can tell.
I posted before a group picture of the Minneapolis City Council. All I'll say is, what a group of buttes.
Oh,
what
yeah.
a bunch of dandies.
If this was your poster on your wall, I would just,
my.
I'd have to think about the clowns of Minneapolis.
You know, one thing, Roger, and we talk about this, it's easy to attack these figureheads that get elected into office, but the more serious, troublesome part of that is that large groups of citizenry elect these boneheads to office. That's the real problem.
Well, who in their right mind hires people, and if you're the city, you hire these people to work, and then they turn around and they attack another department, like the police department? I mean, they've lost so many people. They're trying to do hiring bonuses. They're not going to be able to repair this anytime soon with these people.
They have dealt law enforcement across the country a severe blow in retaining officers, recruiting officers. People just don't want to enter the work anymore because it's so thankless, so underappreciated. It's terrible.
Well, the people who voted this down, a large number of them are in these inner city areas that these people are saying the police are hurting. Those people are the ones that voted it down because they know they need those cops on their corners.
They need cops there to help them out.
They absolutely do.
You know, Roger, let's shift gears here a little bit. For those of you who aren't aware of it, in the state of Iowa right now, it's deer season.
So I got down from the tree stand, start heading for the truck, and that's when I seen it there. The 30-point buck. 30-point buck. 30-point buck. 30-point buck.
Okay.
It's deer hunting season, okay? Everybody's up in their tree stands and wearing their kabuki makeup, and they got the doe piss squirted on them, and they're going after Bambi, okay? Well, I got news for you. I'm not a deer hunter, and I really sincerely don't have anything against deer hunters. I like to make fun of them, though. If you're out and about, do not, whether you're male or female, challenge, get close to, or mess with a buck in rut. He's got one thing on his mind, and it's not to have a sandwich with you, okay?
Well, yeah, you better pay attention. You better, those things. Didn't you have one of your...
My nephew, Brian Morello, he's a huge hunter, one of the best wildlife artists in the nation.
Was he out playing the dating game out there?
Well, he about got gamed. He let us all know earlier, I think it was late last week, he had a couple bucks stalking him. Oh. And then he realized that, hey, this isn't good.
And I don't know if he's going to outrun them either.
No, you're not going to outrun them. They're stronger than hell. They're hornier right now than a 3-peckered billy goat. And you just don't want to mess with these things right now. So stay away from them.
Brian, we'll get you some contraceptive or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, speaking of that, what a lead-in. I can't think of a better thing to lead into my buddy Mike. We got Mike here. Mike, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks, Roger.
Let me tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're a former banker. Tell me about that.
Oh, long-term banker.
Long-term banker. How many years?
35 plus.
35 years in rural Iowa?
Mostly small towns, northeastern Iowa, southeastern Iowa, south central Iowa, and then ended up here in Des Moines.
You're a staunch Republican, smart, conservative, common sense kind of guy?
Exactly.
You're not here to debate the disarm the police or do anything like that?
No. And I'm not justifying the Brandon administration.
Oh, there you go.
Circumstances.
We like that. Now, you're part of a group that meets on Wednesdays. Tell me about that.
Well, there's a group called West Side Conservatives.
Okay.
Meets 2 times a month, second and fourth Wednesday mornings at 7:15.
Where at?
At the Machine Shed Restaurant.
Oh, okay. All right.
Great place.
Oh, it is. They start about 7:15. They're done by 8:30.
Really?
So a guy can get in, have breakfast, listen to
Speakers?
some excellent speakers that they'll bring in.
Who have they had come in recently? Give you a couple?
You're Nicole.
Nicole Hassel was in?
Nicole
She was
Hassel
on our
was
program?
there.
Okay.
She was on the program. Bob Vanderplatz was there.
Yep.
Okay.
They've had national names come in and come through.
Now it's all conservatives that come on. They don't invite the other side, do they?
No, it's 100% conservative.
And how many people show up, do you think?
Oh, there'll be 50 to 100.
Sounds like a nice group. Has it been going for a while?
It's been going for an extended time frame. I've only participated for about the last 3-4 months, but been very, very impressed.
I know we've talked about trying to get one of their people, their head people on the program. They've talked about potentially having us come out there and visit because, we're always peddling, trying to get more listeners and spreading our word. And I think that would be nice to.
Yeah, I've been a speaker at some of the Rotary clubs around town. They listen to me on WHO and other places, and so I love going out and speaking to the conservatives.
We love to
Yeah.
get out there and talk.
Yep.
Being a former bank guy, you've dealt with businesses, you've dealt with individuals. Give me your spin on what's going on out there today in the economy and with the way Brandon's running things.
Honest to God, it looks like the 80s all over again.
Do you see our banks? You think we'll see some bank failures or affecting them, or is this more Brandon just writing checks and handing out money?
More writing checks and handing out money. But there's no question but inflation's going to kick in. Well, it has.
Yeah.
You've been to the grocery store.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And
You know.
it's unbelievable.
Well, one of the things I do as a side gig is I'll close real estate mortgages for one of the law firms in town.
Right.
And I'm sitting there telling everybody, if I can borrow money at less than 3%, don't pay it back any faster than you absolutely have to because it's free.
Right.
Inflation kicking in the way it is, it's not going to cost them anything. We've got to be looking at a housing bubble again. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm sorry.
You think it's going to burst and we're going to have these houses, and all of a sudden we're going to have homes that are worth more or are borrowed more than they're actually worth?
Exactly. Well, you've had appraisals having to chase the value of the house.
Right.
Meaning, the loan's made, the home's sold, the bid or offer is coming in $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 over asking price, and you don't have a comparable to compare it to.
I got a question for you. This my wife and I wonder about this. We're okay. We're comfortable financially. We've got savings and pensions and all this and that. And we were approved to build a home here a couple years ago, and a bank extended a building loan, construction loan, to us, $700,000 to $800,000. Okay, and we have a good income. But that doesn't jive with the old 1.5 times your annual income thing. So apparently that's gone.
Oh, absolutely.
So you have tons of people all over, here in Iowa and elsewhere that are living in these homes. And my wife and I, we drive around and we say, how do they afford this? I mean, will they ever pay them off? Will they, what would happen if they lose their jobs? I mean, who's holding the note on these mortgages? It's crazy.
It is.
Well, if these numbers drop on these houses, and all of a sudden people go from being in a good position upside down, what happens? The bank come in and say, pay us, or take the money, or the bank's going to eat it because they're on the note. They've signed up to it.
Good question, and it takes a long answer to get to your answer. Most local banks aren't holding the loans.
Right.
If you stop and think about this very carefully, most banks' longest time certificate they've got in the books may be 5 years.
Right.
So how can they finance a 30-year mortgage?
Yeah.
Meaning they don't know what's going to happen to their interest rate over that 5-year time frame. So most of the loans are sold in the secondary market. A lot of them are supported by governmental programs nationwide. If you really want to know the truth, a lot of the housing problems all the way go back to the Clinton administration and Barney Frank. They pushed projects that insisted that a bank couldn't say no. They couldn't. If you were, let's just leave it. Anybody that applied was going to be approved.
Is it today? Do we see a lot of this wokeness that we talk about coming into play, and people getting homes where they're
They're questionable.
They're questionable, but because their skin color, or we're pushing this narrative that they look a little different, at them a little differently than they do other people.
I can't respond because here in Iowa we're kind of insulated from that, Roger.
Right.
So nationwide, I can't tell you what it was like.
What did you? Go ahead.
What I can tell you, back in the about 2003.
Right.
2003 to 2006. Now we had a housing collapse in 2008. All was Bush's fault, right? No, it wasn't his fault at all.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, everybody and their brother was being approved. You had loan production offices on every corner. These guys that were manning those offices were not held responsible, meaning all their whole goal was to get the loan closed. As soon as the loan was approved, they were paid. Didn't make any difference whether it was paid back or not. The loan was sold in the secondary market. Government, in their infinite wisdom, it used to be you'd look at a mortgage payment of maximum of 25% of your gross income, combined total obligations of less than 30%. Well, they went to 50%. It was kind of fun. I sat as a senior lender in front of lenders from all across the state, and said, "Let's do this. Let's take a couple that's making $150,000 a year. Let's apply, and we're talking 50% of gross income, not 50% of net income. So $150,000 after taxes ends up being what? 100?
Yeah, around there. Mm-hmm.
Maybe 100. If you worked it backwards and you looked at applying what they could have in obligations, when they got done making their house payment, a couple making $150,000 a year might end up with $500 left over at the end of the month. Now I want you to think about that.
Well, and that's about what the average American has in savings too, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's scary.
Things going on today with everything that's going on, you think we were better off 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
With Trump, obviously with Trump, we had the other things.
Yes.
But
inflation kicking the way it is, the cost of energy going through the roof. I mean, face it, guys, taxes are going to go through the roof. You can listen to Brandon and his group talk about the rich paying for everybody. Who are the rich? I mean, let's look at corporate taxes. Who pays corporate taxes? Does a corporation pay taxes? No. They turn around and pass it right on down.
They do.
Who owns the corporations? Do you have a 401k?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have an investment? Guess where that investment is?
Yeah.
Yet investment's in a corporation. So you end up paying the taxes.
Well, and you bring up a great point. The nation's public pension systems that are well managed, where are they investing their portfolios? Do you have any idea? I know you do. Yeah, same place.
Same place.
And that's who Brandon wants to go. This is a phantom rich people.
Well, what Brandon never talks about either is the fact that these giant corporations are the job producers, that they pay the real livable wages. You know, the John Deere and the GE and the Ford and the General Motors, they're paying salaries to workers who pay property taxes, sales tax, income tax. So you don't attack them because the corporation is just kind of a name or a word for somebody who's been successful at business. You know, Roger's late father, Rod, highly successful businessman. He provided hundreds of jobs during his career. He gave back to the community, made good money, but he did it. Mm-hmm. The government didn't do it. And they want to attack Rod French? Please.
And now they want to do, socialism. Their model's socialism. That's what it is. Pure and simple.
And the problem with that is pretty soon you run out of payers.
Yeah.
Well, you run out of incentive.
Well,
I've done a lot of reading on that. When you remove the entrepreneurial spirit in an economy, you don't have Bill Gates anymore. You don't have people who are developing vaccines. You don't have people developing prosthetics because there's nothing in it for them. The government's going to come in and give them their fair share for their great idea. Nobody gets ahead.
Well,
exactly.
And these guys get money. And just like this, keep going back to my friend Indira here. She wants to fund. She didn't understand. Where were you, Indira, when we walked in and handed City of Des Moines a $140,000 check for body cameras? She wasn't there.
Rod didn't
there.
have to do
that. That was done by the private sector.
Rod gave money that he earned through his entrepreneurship.
Above and beyond his taxes.
Above and beyond his taxes. And he gave it to law enforcement because he believes in law enforcement. Solid cops.
And who benefits from body cameras? If they're all concerned about police going off the rails or doing something wrong, the body camera is going to show that. And of course, you don't hear that kind of word coming from them because they're simple. They don't understand it. It just irritates me about that sometimes, and I always threaten that I'm going to go down to that city council and let them have it a little bit. But, and I may someday.
Yeah.
And I'll
You gonna take Bob with you?
I'll take. Yeah, me and Bob are going to protest. We're going to have a sit-in.
Well, what you're talking about, Roger, is simple lack of common sense.
Yep.
And you know as well as I do, we don't see much of that today.
We don't see very much.
I mean,
of
you
that
talk
at
to a
all.
lot of people. I know you have a group that goes out to lunch, a fine gentlemen that go out to lunch. I happen to be one of them on Thursday, And
There's at least
talk.
two of us are fine.
We talk. Well, and of course we have to cover everything. I know this is hard to believe, but Mike's kind of a light Cyclone supporter, so we have to talk about football a little bit.
Yeah.
But we talk common sense, law enforcement, politics, and I think today, Mike, it's a challenge. I feel it's swinging the other way a little.
The shift's happening.
Don't you?
I don't think there's any question. You saw some interviews after the election in Virginia. Dave, some Hispanics that said, "Hey, Brandon's turned us into Republicans."
Yeah, and
that's happening a lot.
And you know what? Even before that happened, a lot of Latinos, Hispanics, they voted for Trump because Hispanics are hardworking. They understand capitalism. They want to do well in life, and Trump provided that for them.
And they're good law-abiding citizens,
They are.
most of them.
They are.
Well, taxpayers. They're taxpayers.
Oh, they're taxpayers.
By good people, and they stick it up. And
one thing I wanted to mention, Roger, is and it goes back to the West Side Conservatives. We had Bob Vanderplatz made a presentation here a couple of weeks ago.
Good man.
And he actually, it's pretty easy to get depressed if you're a conservative and seeing what's going on in the world today. But he made me feel 10 times better. And his comment was, the millennials, believe it or not, are actually more conservative than we give them credit for. And they're waking up because they're realizing that they've been lied to. Main Street media, can you believe a word that they say? Not necessarily.
They're really struggling right now.
They're really struggling right now. And these guys aren't dumb. This group are not stupid by any means. But you sit and you realize you've been lied to often enough, pretty soon you decide maybe that's not the answer.
Well, and I'm excited for Trump. I want him to get his new network up, to try to offset some of this Facebook stuff and have him Twitter. And, we're starting to see a little bit of that with some of the stations on TV. I think we're going to see some of that with social media and try to fight back. Do you, what's your take on law enforcement, the spin on law enforcement, defund police?
Most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. How's that? I mean, look
That's
at the
long and short.
That's long and short of it. Look at the statistics, and somehow the liberal mindset has an inability to recognize facts. But if you put the facts out in front of them, how many deaths were there from law enforcement
compared to?
I mean, next to zero.
We talk about this. The actual percentage of police officers across the nation annually that run afoul of the law, cops that go bad for whatever reason, is less than 0.5%. So America, you have allowed these nut jobs to vilify a government core service that you have to have, and the numbers don't equate to the vilification.
Not even close.
Not even close.
And we see that, of course, you see that when they pull their BS in these cities and they actually, like Portland, they lose officers, they cut back. What happens in these autonomous zones when you take the officers out? They've had shootings and deaths, and what I get makes me furious about that is the leaders in those cities that allow this to happen and hamstring our officers, our police departments to not be able to there.
Well, they just left a lot of times across the nation when we had the unrest and rioting and looting and burning. Government officials were gone.
Oh, absolutely.
They were terrified.
So Dave, let's go to the Minneapolis quote-on model that they wanted to throw out. And what did you say were the two most dangerous police activities? Domestic
traffic stops.
And traffic stops. Yeah. So do you want to volunteer to be an unarmed social worker to go break up this domestic?
About like I'd like to go out on a date with somebody from The View.
No, but you know what? I want to see that. I want to see that unarmed social worker go approach that guy who's naked over there, who's smeared his body fluids all over him, who's high on PCP.
Yeah.
That's the guy. Go talk him down.
And-
let me know how that works out for you.
And you're going to tell me that these city councils aren't going to be held legally responsible when some of these social workers get their heads handed to them?
Oh, big time.
Well,
This is a lawyer's feast.
I still don't understand why somebody hasn't gone up and done a class action for those small businesses up there against the city who let their businesses just burn and did.
And a lot of them were minority-owned businesses.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
talk about an
But
ambient-
I think it's shifting. Okay, the Virginia elections, I think, were telling. Like I've said before, the midterms next year, I predict that we Patriots, Blue Dog Dems, Independents, Conservatives, Republicans, we will own the House and Senate here soon, and we'll also be back in the White House, and we'll be there for a long, long, long time.
and the law enforcement will get the support they need.
That's right.
And we'll start straightening out some of these city councils, and like our boy down in Florida has done. And if anything's going to defund it, it'll be a city council who doesn't support their police departments.
That was a question I had for you guys. DeSantis put out his $5,000 bonus if you would move. Does anybody know how that turned out? What kind of numbers they've had?
Well,
I'm sure there's takers on that.
Let me see. I get to go to Florida along the coast in the sun. You're going to pay me $5,000 and you're going to support me versus staying in the city of Chicago or Portland or Minneapolis
with no income tax,
and
no state
the
income.
threat the threat of anything I do, they're gonna come after me. See ya.
Yeah,
I'll leave the badge right.
You're a
on the-
cop. You know, you go on patrol. Then you're living now in Florida. You got the sandy beaches, the ocean,
the sun, the fun.
and you're working in a state and for a governor who actually likes cops versus staying in Chicago and working for Mayor Beetlejuice. That's a no-brainer.
It'd take me 2 seconds, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
I'd be
and
gone.
And Dave, you can wear your thong down there.
Oh God! Now I ain't wearing that because Roger will be chasing me all over.
Dave in his thong and,
Yeah.
and his roller
Roger
blades.
starts folding
roller
up his
skate.
dollar bills. You know, he gets all crazy.
Well, you know, all seriousness, I'm surprised there's not a flood down there. And even Texas, didn't Texas, the governor say to those Border Patrol officers they were going to go after? I haven't heard much about that.
Well,
if you want a job, I'll hire you right now.
What about the state of Iowa? Has the state of Iowa been trying to recruit some of these guys? I mean, there's got to be some wonderful law enforcement officers.
There are
across
some
the
coming
country.
in. I mean, they're tired of the BS, and so they're going to come. Governor Kim Reynolds supports law enforcement 150%.
Exactly.
So you want to come and work for a governor who's got your back. Come to Iowa. We got plenty of openings. In fact, Des Moines. I put the recruiting thing from Des Moines PD on our website.
Yeah, the patrol was down 700 positions. They're hiring like mad too.
Yeah.
I mean,
State patrols hiring.
Okay, so can you imagine this? The weather we have now, we're almost like Florida. Was it 70 degrees out there?
Yeah.
I mean, were you in your thong out there today?
Well,
I got him again.
Yeah, nice hit, Roger.
You know, one of those. Ta-ding.
I don't know where I saw it or heard it, but someone had thrown out a ticket of DeSantis and Reynolds. Tell me that wouldn't be an interesting.
I think there's a lot of pieces that fit. Like I've said in the past, David, maybe you agree. A glass of water can run against this guy, and I'll vote for
The
the wall.
Dems have nobody. I mean, nobody. The only person they have,
Nobody or nothing.
the only person they have who would have any kind of remote possibility to somehow get on that Dem ticket and run would be Joe
Manchin.
Because he's standing with the R's right now on all this crazy budget crap.
Yeah.
I respect him for that.
Absolutely.
But can he stand up to Trump or DeSantis or Kim Reynolds or any of these solid patriot value loving American? No, he can't.
Well, he won't get the support from his party, and it's but I say he supports common sense.
One thing, guys, that I would
Sense.
like to say to all of my buddies out in the land of law enforcement and in the fire world, the associations and unions need to get real vocal real soon. We're tired of this BS, okay? No more sitting back and letting the left, mold and fashion you into their narrative. You know how critical your services are. You know how committed you are. You know how professional you are. Start telling the citizenry that, because when you start doing that, man, them citizens come out of the woodwork and they say, yeah, Absolutely.
They're going to be behind you 110%.
Did it here in Des Moines numerous times.
Don't you think, Mike?
Absolutely. Hey, I was remiss. Thank you guys, meaning you two and all in law enforcement.
Thank you.
Well,
That
I
means a lot.
appreciate
I appreciate that.
The law enforcement's going to get huge support. Huge support.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Go out, say what you got to do. We got your back. You know,
Yep.
and so.
And we're capable here. I mean, I don't blow my own horn here a lot, but I protected cops in Des Moines for years. If you got any questions, send them to our website or Facebook page. I'm more than happy to help you out. If you're a union or association official, send them my way. I'm more than happy to help you out.
Well, yeah, I just want to tell everybody, especially our officers working night patrol, because I see we get some people watching us, listening to us at night. Give us a shout out. Let us know that you're listening, because we support you. We'll get you on, and guys like Mike are great guys that we try to get on and show these different views.
Roger, here soon we'll have our old buddy Tom Turner on, and he and I at one time were adversaries. He was the HR director, worked with City Legal, trying to get my Mexican ass fired or, quieted down. Didn't work. I have tremendous respect for Tom because he's smart as can be, but he's going to be here.
He
can
kept
talk.
their butt out of hot water, did he?
Yeah, he can talk about how City Hall attacks people they don't like.
Speaking of that, who do we have next week? We've got two good guests coming on. Not as good as Mike.
Mike's
you're always our best guest we've ever had on.
Yeah, he's common sense, just value-oriented guy. We love him. We're going to have on Laura Roan, who's the only candidate, Democratic candidate, running for the Polk County Attorney's Office position next year that we're going to be supporting.
That's a very important
she's a common sense lady. She's a blue dogger. She's supported by the Polk County Democratic machine.
Okay.
She'll replace Sarcone. Sarcone's done a wonderful job. He's finally going out to pasture to play with his grandkids, and congratulations to him. And then the next person will be the musical guy and senior police officer Mike Moody.
He actually exists.
Yeah,
we've been
he's gonna
trying to
come
get
on.
him. He's kind of a star.
He's a lot of fun.
You have to,
And, he's active now, so he can't get as theatrical and animated as we can, Roger. But the citizens in town love him. He's got these music videos going. Hell of a street cop.
Probably one of the
I
best
knew his dad
SROs.
well. His late dad, Bill Moody, is legendary. The Moody family has just been a tremendous asset for the Des Moines Police Department. So he's going to be on along with Laura. So man, tune in.
He's
gonna be
police
good.
royalty. He was probably the best SRO the city's
He
ever
told
had.
me he's bringing his guitar, Roger. He's going to play Little Ducky Duddle just for you. That's your favorite song.
Well, Dave, you can. We'll see what you do. You'll see what you do. Well, Mike, I want to thank you for coming on, buddy. It was great having you.
Yep.
And very informative. We love talking just everybody. I mean, whether you hate us or like us, we love getting you on, getting the facts with guys like this. But I'm doing my damnedest to get us a liberal Biden supporter.
If you're a
and defund
radical
the police.
liberal, come on now, get with the program. Come on here and defend. We'll be respectful to you. We just want you to make your case.
That's right, and you just got to be able to handle the facts, because we'll hit you with facts.
Have to handle the debate.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, I want to remind everybody that to tell a friend, tell somebody, listen to anybody, listen to the program. Let us know you're listening. Send us a comment. If you have something, a comment, send it to me, and me and Dave will get it on there, and we'll talk about it. Remember, stay safe, vigilant, and keep on the common sense side. Okay? Thanks, Dave.
Hey, thanks,
Mike,
Roger.
see you
Good
guys.
show. Thanks, Mike. Bob, good job.
You've been listening to Cop Talk USA with your hosts, Murillo and French.